What's up, fam? It's J Lobos coming back to you on another episode. And today I wanted to talk to you guys out there who are obviously, being impacted by student loans. Either you have some defaulted student loans or you're making payments on your student loans, or obviously we're in this COVID situation. Started back obviously in March and is actually, we're deep into it. So what's going on with that? As you guys already know, student loans plays a crucial part in your credit because first off, it's 10% of your overall credit scores. There's pros and cons, obviously, of having student loans. If you have any debt obligations, if you still have those student loans and you have debt, then if you're looking to purchase a home, refinance a property, that might be something that could hold you back depending on the amount of the student loans that you have. But nevertheless, there's pros and cons. I wanted to dive into it because I have a few clients. People have asked me when it comes to student loans, what are their options now? Besides that, for you guys out there checking out the channel for the first time, consider liking, subscribing, because in this channel, I will bring you guys fruitful information regarding finance, credit, mortgages, real estate, things that are going out there regarding finance, to give you guys a lot of fruitful information so that if you find this information obviously to be obviously interesting, go ahead and share, like, subscribe, comment, and let's dive into it. So, obviously student loans falls into that category, which is called mixture of credit. There's 5 tiers that actually fulfill credit. The big one is 35% payment history. There's 30% of your credit, which is based on what is called limits versus balances on your credit card. 15% is based on what is history. How long have you had credit for? 10% is based on mixture of credit, which falls under that category. If you have one of the three, you're obviously taking 33% total within that whole 10% allowed, and one of them is actually installments. See, student loans is an installment account, such as a car loan, a term loan. If you obviously have all three, which is a mortgage, an installment, and a revolving account, then you are taking advantage of that 10%. And the last 10% is credit inquiries, new credit. So obviously every time you run your credit, you're soliciting, you're trying to purchase something, then they're obviously going to go ahead and run your credit. That could impact your scores in a negative way. But nevertheless, I hope obviously you're making wise decisions, because there's nothing like obviously obtaining that credit and being able to obtain that loan that you're looking for, which obviously is very, very beneficial and helpful, and it outweighs the inquiry. But nevertheless, going into the whole student loan situation, obviously, I don't know if you guys heard or read or you've probably seen, for you students out there or for the people who are currently making student loan payments, obviously there's a forbearance that's out there. It started mid-March, I believe it was the 13th, and it's going to go all the way to September. What does that mean? That means that they're actually putting your loans into forbearance, meaning that you're not obligated to make any payments, which is great. One of the things that I've actually read up on when it comes to those forbearance is that depending on your servicer, your loan servicer, you might not even be paying any interest. It might actually be 0% interest. So obviously that's a question that I've been asked before. I have student loans. Obviously they're in forbearance, or I want to get them in forbearance. But as of right now, because of the COVID-19, there's a lot of things that are happening, and the government's obviously intervening. And for student loans aspect of it, they're obviously in forbearance. And if I'm not mistaken, I would say, and obviously you have to do your homework, you have to do your research. For the most part, with the exception, I know, of private companies, there might be a 0% that obviously you're not obligated. Yes, once the September thing obviously, ends, first off, we don't know what's going to happen in September. There's a lot of stuff that's happening right now, and we're going through a tough, I would say, times right now. It's just kind of crazy with what's going on with obviously with these riots and situations. I don't know if there's going to be more people that are going to get infected or whatnot. We don't know what's going to happen in the near future, if there's going to be more cases, if they're going to extend the forbearance. But I'm also talking to you guys out there that maybe you still do have a job. You're obviously still employed. You're still working, and you're able to make these obligations, these payments. Also talk to your servicer, because if they're offering it to all of us at 0%, obviously through this forbearance, there might be a lot of potential benefits when it comes to you right now negotiating, given the fact that we're going through this pandemic. I've been talking with regards to creditors. You have to have that open line of communication with them, though. So my suggestion for you guys out there, especially if, let's say as an example, obviously there's 2 programs that I continue to talk about. We have the income-driven repayment plan program. That's obviously for people who are currently making payments. Those payments might be a little too high and you need a little bit of help, especially if you've lost your job. Then in that particular case, you might be eligible for a reduction on your monthly payments. Or if you've defaulted and you're looking to get back on track, especially going through this COVID-19, there's a lot of incentives and things that are going on. But nevertheless, the rehabilitation program, which is a program that if you pay for 9 consecutive months, then they're obviously going to go back into the history of the loan, rectify that. And obviously, if you've had late payments, it's going to show like you've never been late. And the beautiful part about it, you're getting back on track. One thing I've always told people, and I've always expressed, especially when we do get loans that are in forbearance, obviously pre-COVID or post-COVID, is that having a loan in forbearance doesn't mean just because you're not making payments, the interest rate's still going. So it's in your best interest to at least make that minimum payment or at least some sort of payment so that you don't accumulate this additional stacking over interest, because then it's going to be really difficult for you to get out of that. So you have to be very vigilant. If you do have the means, obviously make the payments, have an open line of communication, call your loan servicer. You know, these are things that loans, student loans could impact you. Obviously, if you're looking to purchase a home, they're going to get, you know, what's called the debt to income ratio, which is basically they're going to get, you know, all your income and they're going to divide that by your debts. And obviously those debts include the debts that you have on in your credit report. And if in that particular case, your student loans, especially if they total and the minimum payments, they're going to add that as debt. And that could be something that could cause for you to be declined for that loan. So that's something obviously to be considered of. If you do have the means, obviously just take advantage of it, make those payments. But nevertheless, if you guys have obviously any questions, any concerns, feel free to contact us. Obviously we're in it together. We're in here. We're all going through similar situations, even including myself. I've had a massive amount of student loans. My wife has crazy amount of student loans, but nevertheless, we obviously have to be really informed. I hope this information was informative, guys. Thank you for the love and support. Again, subscribe, like, comment, and share. And until the next time, take care. Be safe.